It was like a bad college movie, with each of the companies being a fraternity. You had the over-the-top jock boat company, the snooty, preppy, rich and pretentious boat company, and us, the weird, underdog misfit company. Everyone who got fired from the other companies inevitably came to work for ours. One of the captains called our company the Rehab Company. Actually, there was one other kind of normal, everyman company that would probably have been the main character of the movie. And our company would be the one that the protagonist company would come and score weed from, and get the Mickey to slip into the wife of the dean's champagne at the fancy fundraising party. It was the perfect job, riding a boat all day in the summer, getting paid to go up and down a lazy river and out to the lake. That is, it would have been perfect, had there not been a strong company commitment to complain and create drama around themselves. But I'm reminded of a friend saying that every job would be a perfect job if it weren't for people. Misguided and misanthropic, I know, but that was the kind of job that would give my friend fodder for his folly. One other thing comes to mind. Every Wednesday and Saturday, on a barge off Navy Pier, they had a fireworks show. One night there was a huge thunderstorm, and it was raining sheets. The captain got a report that another boat had gotten struck by lightning and was stuck on the lake. The storm had let up a little bit, so the captain presented the dilemma to the hopeful passengers on the dock. "If you want," he said, "I'll take you out." More people than not decided to go. At the last minute, the Coast Guard had decided that the rain had let up enough to shoot off the fireworks, so the fireworks began to the backdrop of an incredible electrical storm. Lightning was going off constantly, as were the fireworks. It was as if man and nature were competing for the best spectacle. But let me get back to the wild world of bar mitzvahs. Out of the blue, I got a call from Ronnie. As it turns out, while I had been gallivanting around the country trying to keep kids from electrocuting themselves, despite their insistence of being kids, Ronnie had quit the big house and started up his own bar mitzvah factory. He had been making money hand over fist until he decided to sell the company and move back to Sin City. The woman who bought his company needed an art director, so he recommended me. I agreed, and for 9 months had a home there. But it was way out in the suburbs, so the commute was treacherous. Also, I was doing the brunt of the work and getting paid a measly pittance, so I decided to leave and start up my own 2-bit operation. I did some decent work, I suppose. Not the best that's ever been done, but decent. Out of foam core, I made a 7-foot-tall ticket booth, where someone stood inside to hand out place cards in the shape of ballgame tickets. The booth had a sign above it, shaped in a replica of the sign on Wrigley Field with the kid's name on it. I made 20 centerpieces of different ballparks, complete with a faux turf of moss and little battery-operated LED stadium lights. I made 25 4-foot replicas of Tony Awards for a party, and an 8-foot-tall, 12-foot-long, 3-dimensional, freestanding Jewish deli storefront. I even put a little ham hanging in the store window as a joke. And I built all of it out of a tiny 9x11 garage in an alley next to the L tracks. How often did the train come by? So often you don't even notice. That gives me a good picture of your event work. I'm sure you could tell me more. There's always more. I'm a little curious about your experience working in television, I see here. Could you tell me about that? Of course. Although I only worked in television in a very minimal capacity. I worked for and in LA, mostly as a production assistant on the corporate side. I started delivering mail at first and met all sorts of great people. Although I noticed something strange. Whenever I met someone, be it in marketing, human resources, legal, or distribution, they would inevitably say, "Well, I work in insert department here, but what I really want to do is direct, or act, or produce, or something else." After a while, you start to realize that you're living and working in a place where the majority of people aren't doing what they want to do. It seems like a recipe for disaster. What about this company, Pearl Television? What did you do for them? Ah, yes. I signed so many non-disclosure forms that I can't even tell you whose company that is. But I was a B-roller for them. A B-roller? Yeah, I worked transcribing B-roll footage into script form, so it would be easily cut and pasted by producers. I lasted a week before I learned that it wasn't for me. But it was worth it, because I saw 2 minutes of footage that no one would have seen otherwise, and it gives me a chuckle to this day. Whoa, what was that? Well, at the risk of ninja lawyers killing me, I'll tell you. Someone famous, too famous to say loud, was guesting on the show. They were featuring a youth camp that specializes in troubled, underprivileged youths. They showed a zipline climbing course. The aforementioned person agreed to go on the course. Halfway through the course, the person in question just loses all composure, lets go of the ropes, and crashes headfirst into the trees. So what can I do but type it in? This each headfirst into the tree. Wait. It was... Oops, I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, yeah. So everyone on the tape is running around, panicking. They finally get back up. They get a few steps back onto the course, and then they lose it again. Blap! Headfirst back into the tree. And there I am again typing. Eats headfirst into the tree again. It crossed my mind to grab the tape and run out the door, but the truth is, I can't imagine that I jail all too well. That's pretty amazing. I wanted to ask you about this ideation job. What exactly is that? Yes. It seems like one of those corporate buzzwords like synergy or right-sizing, but it's actually pretty cool. To tell you about ideation, however, I have to tell you about home dentistry work. I had gone on a bit of a bender, maybe 2 weeks of hard drinking and whatnot. I was in my third day of detoxing, getting sober, and I was looking in the mirror. I realized I had a huge chip in my front tooth. I rushed into the other room to my roommate and said, "Would you look at this?" "Yeah," he said. "It's been that way for over a week." Well, I waited for my roommate to leave, and then I took his handheld rotary tool, and, with shaky hands and a power tool vibrating wildly in my hand, I proceeded to shave down my 2 front teeth level. I was telling this story to a fellow bartender one night, and as it turns out, he was in the process of starting his own company that helps staff ideation sessions. A week later, my bartender friend rings me up and says, "You're not going to believe this, but I'm staffing an ideation session for a rotary tool company, and I want to bring you in." And that's how I started ideation. Now, to answer your question, ideation is when a company hires out what they call creative consumers to come in and brainstorm for new product ideas or new ways to sell an existing product. It's like a think tank on steroids. They paid me obscene amounts of money to go into a brightly colored room that's made up like a kindergarten classroom and come up with the next best thing to sell. I gotta admit, it was pretty fun work. Well, I think I've heard about enough, and I don't think we need to interview anyone else. Your employment experience and skill set is just what we're looking for here at our company, and we'd love to have you as part of our team. That is, if you're still interested. Sounds great. When can I start? Right this second. Come with me, my friend.